episode 143 is going to be fire. So many crazy stories. So many things. I am back from New Hampshire, and I can honestly say, I actually said out loud to my... Oh, well, I said to my sister, I had the greatest weekend ever in New Hampshire. Now, that is not a sentence that usually comes out of a Midwest person's mouth because I don't even know when I'm in New Hampshire. I don't know when I'm in Vermont. I do know when I'm in Maine because that's the top. But those little states, it's like they got crazy. Rhode Island got nothing. New Hampshire only got 18 miles of shoreline. It's terrible. I call bullshit on that. Yeah. It's like they got super lazy when they went to the Midwest. They go, just put all that as Missouri. Like the other states are so tiny. And then I think they got lazy. Look at the size of California. Lazy. Look at the size of South Dakota, North Dakota. Like they didn't chop us up into... No. I'm sure there's a better explanation for that than laziness, but that's what I'm going with. You were just late. You got tired of it. People just got tired of it. Make that whole space Ohio. Ohio's huge. People forget. Kentucky, not so huge. They got ripped off in the beginning. Yeah.
Tennessee's flat and thin.
Tennessee's thin, flat. Kentucky, thin, meaning flat, not flat in real life. Because Tennessee. New Hampshire was so fun. The beach, Hampton Beach, the casino ballroom that I worked in, and I've never done it. And my friend Taylor is in charge of all that. And she's great, and I know when she's at the gig, everything's fine and perfect, no problems, no issues. And it's like a giant bar. I mean, but it seats like I think 1,400, but more than that. I don't know. We sold it out. So thank you, termites who came. I know people came from Chicago. Almost 1,800. Is that what it was? It's very long and deep, and then there's bars everywhere, and then you see all the people that work there. Usually backstage, you're like, yeah. But this was like Duke Ellington, Janis Joplin, and then I met the owner, Fred, and his wife. They were so fantastic, and he's going to keep it exactly the way it was, and you should never, ever, ever mess with that. No. That's the mistake people make. They go, well, let's just upgrade that. No. No. It works perfect the way it is. Yep. And the crowd was explosive. Michael Somerville was the opener. He's always funny, but he was extra funny that night. I don't know why.
He got some sleep.
I think he was looking forward to go gambling, and because he was going to the Borgata after that. We went out and drank at a bar called The Goat. If you're ever in New Hampshire, at Hampton Beach, I would recommend The Goat.
Is that your pint glass?
That is my pint glass right here, right there. The Goat. Yep. And I don't think Michael listens to this podcast, which is totally fine. And what he doesn't know is I'm going to put that in the mail and mail it to him as a surprise one day. I met some termites at The Goat. Fun. Got my picture made with some termites. Nice. Yeah, I was rounding the bar to see if we could get seats. It was so packed. And there they were sitting right there. So it was fun. It was just, if it's like an hour from Boston, for people who don't know the East Coast, which I still don't, and I go there all the time. It's just weird to me. You could be in Massachusetts, and then boom, I'm in New Hampshire.
In a second.
In 45 minutes. Yeah, it was crazy.
I saw your steamers too.
Yeah, I got some steamers. It's a lot of it's the boardwalk there is kind of time trapped, but not in a bad way. Cool. Feels like 1970. Fun. It's a lot of t-shirt shops and fried everything, fried clams, fried this, fried that. But if you just lean into, I'm just going to get fat this weekend, it's great. Yeah, the pizza's great. Yeah, it's beach stuff. But
how's the beach?
The actual beach itself is gorgeous. Cool. It's a weird little town, though. Like, sometimes I felt like it looked like Ireland. Other times I felt like it looked Hermosa Beach. And then some parts I was like, that's Atlantic City. It's a combo. It's a combo package. And I looked at all the license plates. Most of the people there are from New Hampshire. So the Massachusetts people aren't boogieing up. Maybe they only go to Cape Cod. I don't know. But I would think Cape Cod's too expensive.
Yeah.
It's pricey. Pricey. I got beers from there. Nice. Well, termites brought me beers. This is my favorite one. The Von Trapp. Right now, I'm not drinking that one. I'm drinking that one. This is the Von Trapp Brewing. It's in Vermont. A little of Austria. Nice. After the Von Trapps.
The real Von Trapps?
Yeah, there's a mountain goat on it. Wow. Yeah. And it's made in Stowe, Vermont. Stowe? I don't know how you say it. Von Trapp Brewing. I've always wanted to go to the Von Trapp family mansion, and I'm going to go. I'm going to figure out a way to get there.
You've never been there?
I've never been there. I've only been to Vermont once. I was in Rutland, Vermont. I did a show. It was great, but I had to leave because I had to go somewhere else up there in the small states and go figure out another show. So I didn't get to hang out. Okay. Plus, it was winter, so it was freezing.
It's the best time to go.
Then the other, but I'm not a skier. I don't care about snow skiing. No.
I'd love to watch you snow ski.
There's not many Midwest people that are good at that. It's not our thing. The Cat's Meow, New England IPA. Great can. It's not cold. I'm gonna try this later. This was given to me by another termite. 8 out of 10 cats say their owners prefer it.
Nice.
What?
8 out of 10.
Yeah. We love beer. We know you do. We're proud to have the opportunity to share it. Please enjoy responsibly with other friends. I want to see. It's from Massachusetts. Framingham, Massachusetts.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a great can. I'm a sucker for a great can. Nice. No question about it. Some of you termites may have noticed a new clock behind me.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. This is from Chris. Chris, I won't say last name. Well, I don't know if this person does this for. Well, I don't use people's last names, but Chris, I got that. It's awesome. It lights. She put instructions on the back. Really pull this, and you'll have fire. And then an LED light came on. Christian termite. We accept Christian termites.
Yes.
No problem.
We accept all termites.
All termites. The best Christian I know, honestly, Jeff Foxworthy.
Really?
Yeah. Because he's all Christian. He does Bible study and all that. And then one time Ron goes, I think he just went to Bible study because he wanted to meet Chipper Jones from the Braves. I said, oh, don't be so petty. I said, I think Jeff Foxworthy could find a way to meet Chipper Jones other than sitting in Bible study. But most importantly, Jeff goes down frequently, like once a week. And he'll talk about this, but he doesn't make a thing out of it, which is what I love. He just does it.
Right.
He goes down to the men's homeless shelter in Atlanta, and he does all that, and he does Christian things without, like,
needing a pulpit.
Yeah, he doesn't pontificate about it all. He just does his thing. So yeah, so the clock is awesome. I love it.
Great.
It took a while to get back here. It came at the Borgata, but I couldn't bring it on the plane, so it got mailed. Shout out to my friends in AC who mailed it back to me, which was great. Davey, and Carol. Yep. I don't know who actually took it to the UPS store, but thank you for that. All right, well, that's what we're drinking. What are we eating? These came from termites. This is a chocolate-covered pretzel called Flipz, F-L-I-P. It says State Fair. I don't know what that means.
This is the churro.
They're good.
Okay.
A little sweet for me.
Your mom will like them.
Yeah, these are going straight to Vicky Madigan.
Okay.
And she'll love them.
Okay.
And then she'll be on my ass to go find them again. And they're probably an East Coast thing.
We have to go to New Hampshire.
Yeah. Hey, can you go get those again? No, Mom, I can't go back to New Hampshire because you need a goddamn pretzel. I don't know. I can't read the packaging because it's blue writing on a blue package. They're good. Flipz.
Chocolate covered.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's more up my mom's alley, though, because it's sweet. And then we're going to... Utz is UTZ. That's the East Coast chips. Hanover, PA. I have never had the red hot, though. The termite brought these.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. Well,
Barbecue?
no. They're way hotter than barbecue. They're good, and the good news is you're only going to eat a few. You're not going to plow through these like a bag of Lay's because your tongue would fall off.
That's great.
They're good. I think the that hot is more for the children.
They like it a lot.
Not for me. Yeah. All right, we're going to go over some termite things, and then wait to hear all the Queen news I have. It's just amazing.
Everybody's active.
Everybody's super active this week. I don't know why, because in summer, usually they're not. Holly and Guy sent me beer called Summer Nights backstage. And I do get these things. I want you to know. If I don't mention them,
Because you drank them.
well, Michael. Blame Michael. Michael is the beer monster. I won't even. People talk about famous people's riders and stuff, like the crazy shit they want backstage. Mine is a 6-pack of beer. I don't care what kind. And 2 waters, one for me and one for the opener. Because they'll call and then they'll go, is there a sheet we're missing? No. But if Michael comes, I double it. I need 12 beers and 4 waters. And they don't mind doing it. These are Maine termites. I do want to come back to Maine, and I just sent an email to my agent, Heidi. I'll say her name. So if you would like to write a letter of complaint.
You just got an email. It's all happening.
Really?
Yep.
Portland?
Yep.
Great. Yep. That's where I wanted to go. And I want to go in summer because tourists are there and I want to stay for the week. Great. Yeah, I want to become one of those old people performers where I just do a show like at 4 o'clock on a Saturday and then I stay the entire week and then I just spend the money I made in town. And then I consider it a giant exchange of, resources. Here you go. Here's my money. I'll do a show. Everybody's happy. Anne sent me, this is a Zen Bigfoot. Anne sent that backstage with a very funny card of a dog. From one Libra to another, please excuse my organizational skills. I could have bought a gift bag, but who doesn't love an old travel laundry bag? Made me laugh. Got her through some rough times. Best you and your family. Anne. So she sent a lot of Bigfoot stuff and a koozie and fun stuff. Shout out to Shalom and Terry. They sent the Flipz Cheerios. And then we take pictures a lot of this because
Churros.
What did I say? Cheerios?
Cheerios.
I didn't even know what a churro was till I was like 29. It's just not happening in Missouri. And then I went to California, and then there was like a street fair, and I'm like, what's a Cheerio? Cheerio. Delicious. So I got their stuff. They listened to the podcast. That's great. I don't think those were the termites I met in the bars, though. Amy and Maureen, they brought Old Bay goldfish, which I already ate on the plane. Already ate that. And a ranch squeeze me dog toy, which I gave to the guy at the venue because he has 3 labs and a baby new one and a new puppy.
He needed a toy.
He needed a toy. So thank you for bringing that. It's gone to very good use. And this lady gave me catnip in an envelope. She brought the Utz's things too. This is Holly. Look, there's real catnip in there.
Yeah, it's from her cat.
The catnip I have that I bought looks like pot. This kind of looks like pot. Yeah, I've already given it to them. They love it. I have to hide the envelopes.
Read the front of the envelope. It's from her cat.
For baby cat and El Chapo from your feline friends in Beantown, mango and a Ouija or Olivia? Ouija?
Yeah.
Oh, and the black olive. Oh. Dried catnip.
That's great.
It was great. They loved it. They went crazy. So.
And that T-shirt.
Oh, yeah, and this T-shirt.
Fenway T-shirt.
My Fenway. Yeah. So if I ever go to a Red Sox game, and I can root for them because they're in the American League, so it doesn't have anything to do with my shitty Cardinals.
No.
God, my dad's still with that. Well, in 1922, the Cardinals were out of first place by 75 games. It came back. It's not happening, Dad. Stop it. Stop talking about that. Jackalopes on the mend, too. So, it's been quite the experience. Here's what I do know about older people. Doctors are trying to keep them alive. Insurance companies trying to kill them. Now, this is just not working. We need to decide, are we keeping them alive or are we killing them? And we don't give them all this medication to keep them alive. And then you go, yeah, well, we're not going to pay for that shit. Right. Well, we need to have a meeting and go, what do we do with the over 80-somethings, and then put up their stats and then make decisions. Like, it's just so frustrating to deal with all that. But maybe someday, I'll do a show about old people and healthcare. Wouldn't that be exciting?
That'd be super fun. So hilarious.
Most importantly, last announcement, new Pubcast shirts.
Yay!
It's my favorite one ever. Ever. I'm going to do a video about it too, but
what's the front say?
The front says Madigan's Dock and Bar.
Yep.
We just made that up. And then it says Madigan's Pubcast established 2020 on the back. Yeah, it's my favorite so far. Great summer shirt. So if you guys want them, they're going live on the website today, now, whenever that is, now. Yeah, and I may just order a second batch just to give away for fun because I love them.
When you get your non-existent T-shirt
Well, you make fun of my non-existent T-shirt gun, but I may buy it for myself for my birthday. Maybe I'll do that. Just a present to me. Yeah, so I can just shoot shit out. Okay, Queen news. Oh my God.
So many things.
Dolly has released so she did a rock and roll album because she got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That will not be released till November, the album, but she has done her version of We Are the Champions.
Fun.
Mixed up with We Will Rock You. You can go watch it on YouTube for free.
Schnauze.
I've paid my dues time after time. It's crazy fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
It builds.
I've had my share of bad luck. I don't even know the words. But I've committed no crime. I've bought mistakes. I've made a few. And then it goes crazy. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. Yeah, and then she goes into We Will Rock You. She's telling everybody the single's out. You can go listen to it for nothing on YouTube if you don't want to. So she has a 30-track project coming out, and the full list. So she's collaborated with all these people. Rockstar, I guess she wrote some. Special guest Richie Sambora. Track 2, World on Fire. Track 3, she does Every Breath You Take.
Stop it.
With Sting. Every move, I'll be watching you. 4, Open Arms with Steve Perry.
Pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Magic Man with Ann Wilson. He's your magic man.
It's your opener song.
Yeah, that's the opener's intro. On the road, whoever goes with me. Long as I Can See the Light with John Fogerty. I don't know it. Either or with Kid Rock. I Want You Back with Steven Tyler. What Has Rock and Roll Ever Done for You featuring Stevie Nicks. But I don't know that song. Maybe she wrote it.
Maybe she wrote it.
And she does Purple Rain.
Stop it.
I'm not kidding.
Does she have Prince in a seance?
No, Prince is not involved.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's just Purple Rain. Baby, I Love Your Waif, Peter Frampton.
Great.
Baby, I don't really, I kind of remember that. I Hate Myself for Loving You with Joan Jett.
Done.
Night Moves she does Night Moves, the Bob Seger song with Chris Stapleton. Oh, she does Wrecking Ball with Miley Cyrus.
Oh, wonderful.
How great will that be?
Wonderful.
I can't wait for this. I Can't Get No Satisfaction with Pink and Brandi Carlile. Keep On Loving You. That's the guy from REO, Kevin Cronin, who I have met at many charity events and is the nicest man, and his voice sounds exactly like it did 30 years ago, and he sang high. It's amazing, because I've seen some of these 70 bands where you're like, oh, Lord, this is mostly at charity gigs. They pop up, they'll have a comedian, a band, or whatever. He's something else. And then you think, oh, do I really care about REO? And then, yeah, you do. You do. You care real quick. Like Heart of Glass, Debbie Harry.
Cool.
Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me with Elton John. Tried to Rock and Roll Me featuring Melissa Etheridge. I don't know that song. Oh, she does the Stairway to Heaven featuring Lizzo and Sasha Flute.
Oh, my God. Yay.
Oh, my God. My Blue Tears featuring Simon Le Bon. What's Up featuring Linda Perry. You're No Good featuring Emmylou Harris and Sheryl Crow. Heartbreaker with Pat Benatar. Bittersweet featuring Michael McDonald of the Doobie Brothers of Where My Neighborhood, Florissant, Missouri, a.k.a. St. Louis, Missouri. But I had a Russian lady that used to hem my pants because I can't sew. And she only had 2 pictures on her wall of famous people. It was me and Michael McDonald, and I wasn't even famous. I told her, she's like, what do you do for a living? Because you come here in the day. You don't have. She was very upset I didn't have a day job.
What's the matter with you?
Some of us work at night, ma'am. Just simmer down. I don't know what's going on in Russia, but I'm gainfully employed. I can pay the $6 to hem these pants. But anyway, me and Michael McDonald were the only 2 people. There was no one else in the area that had a headshot. She does Let It Be, featuring Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, with special guest Peter Frampton and Mick Fleetwood. And then she does Freebird.
No.
I must be traveling out now.
Oh, my God.
I can't wait for this. I really can't. This is just going to be like an evening. It's just explosive. November 17th.
We're going to get a lot of beers.
Oh, my God.
And listen to it on your deck.
Time after time, I've had my share of it. But I've committed no crime about mistakes. I've made a few. All right, I'll stop. This is where I annoy my siblings. Queen news, moving on. Cher broke the internet, and she's not kidding. She's ready to turn out something even sweeter than music. She's launching her own frozen treats. There's a Cherlato, as in gelato.
Love it.
Food truck running around L.A. She wrote, "Yep, this is real. I'm launching my gelato." In her latest post, and there's the truck, and it says, "Watch out, L.A." And Twitter people were very excited. Somebody said she's been serving us for decades, and now she's serving us gelato. I would take a new song instead, because I'm not really a gelato person. But good for her for doing something weird. Please have melon. Somebody wrote, "Please have melon. I cannot find melon gelato anywhere but Spain and Italy." Well, aren't you snobby snobstein?
Go to the
Thanks. One said, "I hope you have a vegan option, goddess." I'm sure she will. Cher's smart enough to know.
Yeah.
Queen news. We should have the Queen's walk-on music when I do that, but we'll probably get in trouble. That's why I can't play the Dolly Parton song, because then
You
YouTube...
sang it beautifully.
Thanks, I did sing it pretty good. Let me see the real words. Because I've listened... No, my phone's off. I listened to it like 10 times. I'll sing the whole thing next week.
Oh, wonderful. Can't wait.
In super alto. This is speculation. Fleetwood Mac could reunite with Lindsey Buckingham for one last reunion tour. Oh! Little by little, the 70s bands are planning farewell reunion tours. The Eagles are getting ready to embark on one. The Eagles are fine. I would go if Dorf got me a ticket. Put it that way. Or if Dorf said it's like a Tuesday and it's less than $100. I'd go. If I had nothing. It's just not. They've never been a band that I was like, I got to get down there. But I know a lot of people do feel that way, so good for them. Elton John just wrapped up his tour. Paul Simon has already dotted his I's and crossed his T's. I'd go see Paul Simon.
Oh, God, I've seen him.
Was it boring? You saw him?
It's fine. It's not Tay-Tay.
Of course it's not Tay-Tay. The dude's 80-something. And he can't hear anymore. You don't want to hear Bridge Over Troubled Water?
No,
I do.
I mean, I did, but I'm good.
Well, I'm going to see if he has any more shows, and you will not be invited.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
This person writes, this is from Showbiz 411. I don't really even know what I just saw it. Now I'm hearing Fleetwood Mac be net max. Here's the thing. If they want to go out as Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie is dead. John McVie doesn't want to perform anymore. Mm-hmm. So that leaves Stevie, Mick, and Lindsey. If you don't take Lindsey, now it's Stevie and Mick, and that is not Fleetwood Mac. Now it's just Stevie.
Right.
So she doesn't need to bother with that. But this is if Stevie's going to allow Lindsey. It's up to Stevie. Do you want to do arenas? Or, Stevie, you want to go with Billy Joel and then play outdoor venues that are 8,000 seaters? I'd go alone, but comedians spend our lives alone. We don't work like this. These bands, it's so complicated. And then they fight. And you got to wake up and think, is Lindsey mad at me? Or no, it really be, is Lindsey mad at me? You'd have to say it like that. Is Lindsey being his asshole self today?
Exactly.
There's even talk, sources per Mick Fleetwood, Mick saying this, of reuniting with Lindsey, who was fired from the group a couple years ago. But with the passing of Christine McVie, it makes sense that Buckingham get back in the fold. He and Stevie Nicks fight once the tour is over, and then they're in nursing homes, frankly.
Right.
Oh, God. It's a little harsh.
Yeah, it's a little harsh.
And let's not forget John McVie retired from touring. Fleetwood Mac now just be Mick and Stevie. A Mac Attack in 2024 would be an easy sellout for arenas. A solid big-name younger act would be a good opener. Mac can fill 3 hours without a doubt. And then they'd have a memorial tribute to bring everyone to tears. Oh, God. So hang on, Mac fans. The only question is when all these groups, who will take their places? That is a good question. Once these 70 bands, you have to have the lifespan. Now there's The Dead and Widespread Panic, Dorf likes all that stuff, but that's a cult.
Yeah.
It's not to mean a bad way.
Right.
It's just, I don't know who the era of classic rock is ebbing away. This guy's not wrong about that.
No.
Well, maybe children don't want it. Maybe they don't care about all that.
Nope.
Dorf had the best idea ever. Stevie Nicks should go with
In case it gets announced.
what?
We should probably keep
Oh,
it under wraps.
I shouldn't say what his idea?
it's a
Well, nobody's doing it.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. All right. He had a great idea for Stevie, but whatever. She doesn't need Dorf's ideas.
Maybe.
I don't think she's ever called Nashville and said, "Hello, can I speak to Brian Dorf, man? Hello, little Dorf. Do you have any ideas for me?" Little Dorf does have good ideas. This is more Queen news. Then we're moving on to updates. This made me laugh so hard. I was in New Hampshire, and this shit show started. Levi Stadium. So that's where the 49ers play and all that. It's in California. It's not really in San Francisco.
No.
It's south of San Francisco, and it's quite a ways south of San Francisco. I feel like they always, every town on like Monday Night Football or whatever, they'll go, "Oh, well, we're here in Boston," but the stadium isn't anywhere near what they're showing. Nashville did it.
Yeah.
For the NASCAR thing.
Yeah.
They're like, "We're here in Nashville." It was out in Lebanon. That is 45 minutes from downtown, maybe 30 with no traffic, but it's not close. And they're showing Tootsies. I'm like, no. Just say where you really are.
Right.
Stop the bullshit. San Francisco. Okay, this is where it's coming. The story's coming out. Are you ready for it? In 1 week's time, some would consider the concert of the generation will take place at Levi's Stadium, Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. Taylor Swift Swift fans are not allowed to bring friendship bracelets to the Eras Tour's concert.
What?
After a controversial ban. I read that and went, oh, no. You don't know what the children are capable of. They can collapse your stadium. They can collapse your weekend economy. They can do whatever they fucking want. Yep.
They'll storm you out.
But wait to see what happens. Originally, so a lot of cities, like my friend Dory, she told her kid, I don't have $2,000 for a ticket for you. So you go down outside with the other kids in the parking lot and have fun there. And she had a blast. They're letting them tailgate. Nashville, they were all on the pedestrian bridge and they're all having fun. Well, Levi Stadium said tailgating is prohibited for this Taylor Swift concert and there will be no designated viewing area outside of Levi's Stadium. Fans without event tickets will not be permitted to congregate in parking areas or in the streets. That's so mean, too, because these kids are not drunk.
Right.
They're not on drugs. They're not going to cause shit.
No.
They're just happy kids.
Right.
Well, they said, then they tweeted out, "Hello, bracelets are not permitted in the stadium at Levi's Stadium." Yeah. However, it appears Levi's Stadium has now reversed its decision on the bracelets, tweeting that they're now allowed. Friendship bracelets will be permitted at the Taylor Swift concert. Why would you have done that in the first place?
Exactly.
And you know who picked up the phone? I'm sure.
Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay and said, "I'd like to speak to the mayor. And if I can't speak to him or her, whoever it is right now,
I will not be going tonight.
there's going to be a riot. And I'm going to tell you where and when. And the children will do it. You can't believe that I have 73,000 soldiers. And they do exactly what I tell them." So the kids, then they revert. Then their Twitter feed said, "Friendship bracelets will be permitted. We are enchanted to see you 1 week from today." What jackass in an office put that out there? Swifties have been making and trading friendship bracelets at concerts to link themselves to the others who shared the experience. Its origin comes from the lyrics in Swift's songs "You're on Your Own, Kid" from Midnight's. And the lyrics are, "'Cause there were pages turned with bridges burned. Everything you lose is a step you take. So make the friendship bracelets, take the moment and taste it. You've got no reason to be afraid."
And the bead industry blew up.
That kind of hurt my head. Yeah, the tiny beads.
Yeah.
That's what I have on. John Mayer sucks right now. It's the tiniest beads. I have to put my glasses on to read what I have on. That's when you know you're too old for the Taylor Swift concert. When I'm like, "Oh, what does this say? I don't have my glasses."
Totally.
Now they don't call it tailgating either. They call it Taylorgating.
Oh, love it.
Let the kids come.
Yes.
What is the matter with people?
Yeah. It's like Woodstock every night.
Yeah.
So great.
So anyway, that one made me, as soon as I read that tweet, I was like, oh, you don't know what you just did. You do not tell the children they can't bring their bracelets.
Speaking of Tay-Tay.
And I don't know why you would have done that. I Googled it. There's no reason.
No. Morons. Speaking of Tay-Tay, we should ask if the termites like the bonus episode.
Oh, right. Did your termites who like Tay-Tay, did you enjoy the bonus episode? I'm thinking about doing one of the Gilgo murderer guy, a bonus episode, because there's so much information, and I don't want to become a true crime podcaster. But I'm just throwing this out there. I do not understand how the wife did not have an inkling.
Exactly.
I'm not saying she did it. I'm not saying she accompanied. But, you know, if all of a sudden I'm married and my husband's digging up weird shit in the backyard over and over and I don't ask a question, or could you tell me he abused you and you were scared to? That's an excuse. That's a reason.
Murdering people,
Well,
police.
Hey, why do we have a locked room in the basement and you won't tell me what it is?
It's my man cave.
My man cave bullshit. Open your man cave. You don't do that. I don't know. But that's not my only problem with it. I have a lot of, but it's not really funny, so I don't know. I may not do it. But anyway, update.
Moving on.
It's a harder subject. But I watched that thing.
This is my murder case.
By the way, before I do updates, whatever I do, what are we watching? Quarterback on Netflix about quarterbacks. Pretty good. You know. But I watch a lot of football, and I play fantasy football, so I kind of know the things.
They say that
Kirk Cousins has reinvented himself. He dresses terribly, and then his wife's like, well, it's just middle-aged man and dad, and she's proud of it. They're funny. They're both funny. You really do like him. He still doesn't seem like a dude who should be a quarterback, but whatever. And then I watched Whatever Happened to Edward V and Wallace Simpson. I think it's on Amazon. It says Whatever Happened to Edward. That's the actual title. And you know who should watch that? Harry. Prince Harry.
Oh.
You want to do it? Guess what you're going to be? Because I asked my mom and dad a long time ago, like, well, whatever happened to that guy that quit being king to marry the American divorcee? And my dad goes, they were grifters. They just ran around to other rich people's houses and camped out until they got kicked out. Well, guess what, Harry?
Yeah.
You should have watched that movie before you got involved in all this, but it's still not too late. Maybe. You're young. Maybe.
Leave her.
It was kind of fascinating to see how their life went after because they were exiled.
Yeah.
And Harry, you're already exiled.
Exactly.
So what's the plan?
He's gonna raise chickens.
Well, they're already talking about moving to Malibu, and who told you they would not stay in Encino?
You did.
This lady did.
Yes.
They will not stay in, Montecito because it's too far. You're in a prison, albeit $14 million prison. You've locked yourselves in. There's nothing going on up there.
No.
That's why people like to go for the weekend. It's quiet. It's nice. It's peaceful. There's a little golf. You can go down to the ocean. But as far as like stuff, no.
No.
It's rich people most of the time are not home.
Right.
And then it's just the staff.
There's not enough press.
Ron had a house there, and I got to know the gardener next door. He was my drinking buddy. Because if Ron wasn't there, I'm like, I'm bored. I'm waiting on Ron. And I'm like, I'm bored. And there were two Mexican guys doing all the gardening, and I went out and talked to them about how they shape the trees. And I was like, you guys want some beers? And they were like, oh, yeah. And they didn't even care they were working. And I'm like, good for you. Those tools aren't, engine-based. Right. There's no gasoline tools here. We're fine. And then Ron's like, what'd you do the whole time you were waiting on me? I said, I made friends with normal people. People who work for a living. Ron, that's Miguel and his friend Juan. And they love it here.
They're very nice.
Update. This headline. Missouri's going to get a few shout outs on this podcast that are not necessarily putting us in the best of light.
Okay.
Missouri man, this is a trader update, who brought pitchfork to the January 6th riot charged with 5 felonies. He brought a fucking pitchfork.
You know what? It's probably historic in his family.
It might be a family heirloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, his great-granddaddy baled hay back when the Dust Bowl rolled through Oklahoma.
Put a bag tag on it.
A Missouri man who marched up to the Capitol with a pitchfork. What do you think you're going to do? That's the most hillbilly weapon I think I can think of. That's legitimately like a weapon. Like, I'm not counting like a brick.
It doesn't matter. It's ridiculous.
He walked up to the Capitol with pitchfork, zip ties, and duct tape. He twice grabbed a Capitol police officer while making his way into the building. He's been charged with 5 felonies in the U.S. District Court in D.C. Christopher Brian Rowe, 39, is from Raytown, Missouri, just outside of Kansas City. Kansas City, this is on you. This is not on St. Louis. This is on... Notice a lot. Just saying. The insurrectionist is apparently KU proud. He loves Kansas.
Jayhawks.
He's a Jayhawks fan. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In addition to his farmer-approved weapon, he wore a Kansas sweatshirt while allegedly committing his litany of felonies and a few misdemeanors. That includes assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers, civil disorder, entering and remaining in restricted buildings or grounds with a deadly, dangerous weapon, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building. It goes on and on and on. He was arrested at his home Tuesday, July 18th, and made his first appearance at the federal court in Kansas City. Huh. Yep. He said he attended the Stop the Steal rally. Then he made his way to the Capitol and approached the police line, pitchfork in hand. When he pushed an officer and grabbed his arm, another officer pepper sprayed him. The Jayhawks fan, that's Kansas.
Rock 'em, sock 'em.
Yeah, would not be dissuaded. Charging document says he twice breached the Capitol, was twice expelled. He tried twice and got kicked out. They pepper sprayed him. He grabbed an officer's arm. He also tried to grab his baton. After his second expulsion, he used a bike rack as a battering ram in an attempt to force his way in a third time, despite being a part of a group that caused an estimated $980 in damage. He did not succeed in getting back in. At one point, he told the cop, "You are protecting traitors and treasonists. They committed treason, and you just shot one of us. That's bullshit. Put your baton down and fucking join us." Parentheses, the officer did not join him. You know what, buddy? I'm not joining a group whose leader brought a pitchfork. If that's the best weapon you can find, you're outdated and you're not up with the times.
Mandy Matney is a Jayhawk.
Mandy Matney, is she a Jayhawk fan?
She's a Jayhawk, yeah.
She's from she's Kansas City.
She might be Mizzou then.
She might be just Mizzou. I'll have to text her and ask her. Another trader update. Our shaman, the one with the horns and the fabulous outfit.
The vegan.
He said, yeah, the vegan. He wanted the vegan meals in prison. He says he said he was gonna go to court, and he did, and I have the result. He's gonna go to court to reverse his January 6th guilty plea. What? Yep. He came into the Capitol bare-chested, wearing a buffalo headdress. He told the BBC that he's heading back to court to reverse his felony guilty plea. The once profusely apologetic convicted writer explained to the BBC that he's incredibly remorseful, not about the events of January 6th, though, because he pleaded guilty. Regrets only weigh the mind down. They're like sandbags on a hot air balloon. He was released from his halfway house following prison 2 months ago after pleading guilty in 2021 to obstructing an official government proceeding. When he and other writers attempted to, we know what he did. So he's going to go back. An attempt to take his plea back is risky, criminal expert so-and-so said. Defendants who make it such a case may have to undergo a new trial, and that could end in the same or worse result. In order to change his plea, he must convince the judge that he received ineffective representation from his original lawyer. He said his lawyer made an attempt to mitigate his crimes weren't true. I never said I was duped by Trump, he told the BBC. I never denounced Q or the QAnon community. And I'm not schizophrenic, bipolar, depressed, or delusional. And then it should say parentheses, I just like to dress up like a buffalo. Okay, all right.
He's a Bills fan.
Yeah. So he took his case, and the judge immediately shut him down and said, no. A federal judge denied QAnon shaman Jacob Chansley's request to reverse his guilty plea. Yeah, he didn't even really spend time saying why. He just went, get out. I'm tired. This docket is full. I don't have time for bullshit like this. You already served your sentence. Stop it. Holy shit. They found it. We're moving on. The remains of a Portuguese ship that disappeared on its way to India, laden with gold and other treasures about 500 years ago, have been found in Namibia's desert coastline. This is the kind of cool thing about droughts. We are finding a lot of shit. Not saying it's healthy.
No,
But
on fire.
the Earth's on fire. But look at all the fun stuff we're finding. Come on. Yeah. Workers at the Namdeb Diamond Corporation, a joint operation between De Beers and the government, were the ones to find the vessel known as Born Jesus, also, quote, Good Jesus. Yeah. Since the miners did not know what they had hit when they discovered the pieces of metal, wooden pipes, they called in archaeologist so-and-so, but even he did not know how big the find would be. Fast forward, the team led is now able to say that thousands of mint-conditioned pure gold coins from Spain and Portugal were found, and they indicate the ship was the one that disappeared in 1533.
Wow.
How awesome is that? They're going to try to turn it into a museum. I hope they do. Holy shit. They found it. This is crazy. Crazy awesome. In 1674, Francisco de Burgos, a historian of the storied Dominican order religious sect, that would be Catholics, wrote of a vast labyrinth under the ancient ruins of Mitla in Mexico and the Zapotec people. I've never heard of the Zapotec people, but they existed. Saw this as an entrance to the underworld. Now, a team of researchers have proven the legend to be true by using modern tools to finally discover the sprawling underground temple of Lioba, which is Zaptec for place of rest, beneath the ancient site. Mitla was inhabited as early as roughly 2,000 years ago and was of religious significance for the people at this time. When Spanish colonizers, including Catholics like de Burgos, invaded, they wrecked the site and drove away its inhabitants. As a blog post detailing findings, they reported a fantastical underground component, a vast subterranean temple consisting of 4 interconnected chambers containing the tombs of high priests and the kings of Tezopatlan, an area of Mexico. From the last subterranean chamber, a stone door led into a deep cavern extending 30 leagues below the ground. The cavern is intersected by other passages like streets, its roof supported by pillars. Today, a Catholic church stands where this ancient center was once thrived, and that there's an interdisciplinary team of researchers from several Mexican institutions of government decided to look for signs of the ancient underworld during a 2022 exhibition. The missionaries had all the entrances to this underground labyrinth sealed, leaving only the palaces standing above ground. To uncover it, they used radar, blah, blah, blah. They found a large void, and they found it. They identified it's a portal to the underworld. So I will report back to tell you what's in there.
Great.
Yeah, kind of cool, though.
Yeah, I like it.
You're told you there's this whole underground thing, and then you think, nah. And then you go, moving on to news. I don't know if this is going to work.
Uh-oh.
This is testing my hillbilly / redneck decision-making.
Okay. Does it involve a bass boat?
No.
Okay.
It's a new $2 billion theme park is opening in the United States. $2 billion.
Wow.
But not in Florida or California. The 125-acre theme park was designed by a team including more than 20 former Disney park builders and Walt Disney Imagineers. They actually have a group.
Imagineers, I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess where it's going to be? Guess.
Arkansas.
Arkansas would be a great place for it.
Nope, no.
Arkansas doesn't get any love, and they should. It's a beautiful state. It's really beautiful. The Ozarks go all the way down there. They have mountains, they have lakes. It's beautiful. They just never had an industrial economy, so they never got a ton of people there. Like, I worked Little Rock for years. I worked at the Comedy House in Little Rock. I always had a blast. Anyway, no, not Arkansas.
Not Arkansas.
No.
Kentucky.
Not Kentucky. They have Noah's Ark.
I know.
Come
They
on.
want to compete with that.
They have the biblical, the reenactment. My Jewish friend Ron goes, so I went to the Noah's Ark. That's one of his jokes. You know, I'm Jewish and I'm from Kentucky, and they said it was like, $35 to tour it. And I was like, well, is it less if you're going through ironically? Only about half the people in the crowd would get the joke, but I liked it. Anyway, a massive $2 billion Americana-themed amusement park is opening in 2026, and it's thousands of miles from the typical theme park hubs. The American Heartland Theme Park and Resort will include an amusement park, comparable to size of Disney World's Magic Kingdom in Florida or Disneyland in California. Wow. But it won't be in either state. Instead, the park and resort are planned to be built on a 1,000-acre property in the heart of northeast Oklahoma, just off Route 66.
Stop it.
Well, I've had my share of fun in Oklahoma, but Tulsa, I've done the Hard Rock. I've had lots of fun in Oklahoma, but I've driven through Oklahoma many, many times, and I just don't know.
Tornado Alley.
If I had to bet, like if I could invest, like, do you think this will work? I'm on the fence, and usually I can gauge what Oklahoma or Missouri or Arkansas would do. Yep. I don't know. Oklahoma's excited to welcome American Heartland Theme Park and Resort. Wow. Oklahoma State so-and-so said, located on historic Route 66, just west of Grand Lake, the development will attract visitors from all around the world and experience and celebrate rich cultures and hometown values. When I hear that, I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Hometown values. The plans for the park include classic amusement park rides, live shows, family attractions, waterways, restaurants that are collectively to create an Americana-themed environment. The state of Oklahoma was selected for the location because of its business-friendly approach and innovative partnership efforts. Oh, nice. We're thrilled to make Oklahoma the theme of they will, okay, so they're going to have a 300-room hotel. They're also going to have...
Gotta have a campground.
They're going to have a large-scale RV park, which will be able to accommodate 750 RV spaces and 300 cabins that's cabins extra with amenities. The 300-acre Three Ponies RV park will become the largest campground in central USA. Wow. It'll create 4,000 jobs and the expected tourism impact on Oklahoma is significant. I gotta Google how far is it away from a major city, meaning Tulsa.
Where is
it? It says north of Route 66, northeast Oklahoma, just off Route 66. So, west of Grand Lake. I guess there's no city there yet. Maybe this will be the city. Oh. I don't know. I don't know if people are going to drive. This is kind of not, it's not like saying Dollywood, where you're 3 hours from Nashville.
Right.
Or you could fly into Chattanooga or Knoxville. I don't know. I'll find out exactly. We'll talk about it next week.
Grand Lake area. Let's see. Driving Grand Lake.
Where's Grand Lake? Northeast or northwest Oklahoma? My mom and dad used to go to some golf resort in Oklahoma. It was very nice.
God, it's nowhere near that.
No? Where is it?
Oklahoma. I thought I said Grand Junction, but it was wrong.
Grand Junction is Colorado.
It's about 2 hours.
2 hours from where?
Tulsa?
Tulsa? Yeah. All right. Maybe.
Yeah. It's by Veneta.
By Veneta? Mm-hmm. Never heard of it.
No, nobody else has either.
All right.
Maybe they'll put a Buc-ee's in.
I'd go to a Buc-ee's before I'd go to this theme park. Totally. Moving on, news. Did everybody see, just for as an aside, the idiot at Lake of the Ozarks, my lake, who drove his Formula One power boat? I'm not a fan of the power boats. Throwing it out there. If you have one, God bless you. But I think they're loud. I think most people, not most, I'd say 25% at least of people driving them do not know how to drive them. He had three outboard motors, 300 horsepower apiece. I've seen up to 4 in the Ozarks. Ridiculous. 900 horsepower. You don't need that. No. Ever. Even if you want to go fast. The 300 is plenty. But it's like it's all about have a bigger boat than the next guy, and the next guy is just out of control at the lake. Old school people like me are never going to be on board with all that because it's loud, it's dangerous. Yeah. Well, this idiot, he was drunk. He hit a house. Now, that is very hard to do when you started on a lake. You started in water, and you ended up on land. It was nighttime. It was right before midnight. He's totes drunk. He's got 8 of them are in the boat. They all fly out. The boat then, he hits land It flips and hits a house. Then nobody ever talked about what I've Googled it too. What about the people in the house?
They haven't released anything.
They haven't released anything.
It was like 11:30 at night, so they were home.
It was late. Well, maybe they weren't home. Maybe they weren't there that weekend. It's a weekend. It's usually a lot of. I mean, my parents are down there full time, but a lot of people are not.
Maybe he wanted to see if it would fly.
He was at the 1 mile marker, basically, of the dam. So if you lake people, you know where that is. The driver, 47-year-old Adam Ramirez from Huntington Beach, California. Why are you in the middle of Missouri? I know our lake is the biggest man-made lake in the country, so a lot of the powerboat people come because you can just go full out. But this is, if I was Water Patrol, this is how old I'm getting. I'd pull everybody over at night because I know most of you are drunk.
Yeah.
And it's so dangerous. I mean, Christ, you can't even relax in your house.
No.
Some jackstraw could hit this land and end up in our living room. And sure enough, yeah, there were 4 women and 4 men on the boat. A lot of them were seriously injured. They were taken to Lake Regional Hospital, or as my dad jokingly calls it, well, I won't say that right now. Just nothing but high praise. Adam Pratt, who owns the racing company, his partner, they had pictures of them all day drinking, and they're all, you know, he looks super douchey. A lot of selfies of himself that he put. They're printed in the article where he's ripped, he's totally in shape, and he can't get enough. Just selfie after selfie, like that crowd, and all 8 of them got flung. They're lucky they got flung, right? Because otherwise that boat would have collapsed on them, and they'd all be dead for. If not dead, paralyzed forever.
How about the towboat guy that kept doing it?
Well, yeah, if you live on any lake in America that's got anything going on, there's a company called Towboat USA, and I got them for the Old Hickory Lake in Tennessee because I don't really feel like there's other like the Ozarks. There's so many people you can call. That Towboat USA got right out into every interview. Well, you know, we came out as quick as we could. We don't need you.
We got a text message.
Yeah. You don't need to tow this boat. This boat needs to be lifted and craned out and taken to a dump. It's not going to float. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, Missouri just really did not do well this week in the news. We got a guy with a pitchfork. We got drunks hitting land. Formula One racing. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I don't know crap about Formula One racing. Well, it's a Euro thing, but it's very big here now. I think it might be exciting. I don't know. I've never been to one. I don't really care about car racing, but...
It's big in Canada.
Is it big in Canada?
In Montreal. Yeah.
Montreal. Well, that's like going to Europe. That's cheating. That is Europe.
It's still Canada, and they forget.
Montreal's Europe. Stop it. I always tell Midwest people, if you don't feel like going all the way to Europe, go to Montreal. You won't know the difference. You can act like you're in Paris. Bunch of people speaking French, a wonderful food. It's delightful. You can go see the church where Celine Dion got married. Isn't that exciting? Huh?
No.
Near, far, wherever you are. So here's what I do know, though. Because I work at the Mirage. I headline the main room there. And my friend Kana, who's worked there forever and ever and ever in a day. And she's my... quote, handler. I love it how they act like I'm a lion at a zoo. Who's my handler? Who's gonna, no. But she's in charge at the Mirage of all things comedy anyway. And she's been telling me how the Formula One racing and like the Mirage where the volcano is, if you know. So I looked up the map. Then the race is going to go down the strip and then turn around down, I call downtown the end of the strip. It's really the north, I think. I get it backwards, but whatever. It's going to turn around right around downtown and then go behind the strip and back up and around. Okay. So if you're on the strip, you got a great view as far as you think, right?
Yeah.
I think these Formula One people are really mean, and I would not want to be in business with them, but I think you have to be because this is what they're doing. So Kana told me that the Mirage was going to erect all these bleacher things where by the volcano so that you can sit out there and watch cars go by, like that close. Yeah. Okay. Vegas hotspots are waving the red flag at Formula One, claiming its executives are threatening to block views of the posh car race unless they fork out millions of dollars in fees. I know. They're totally just blackmailing these people. Because I guess they can erect any kind of obstruction if they want and say, oh, it's for safety. But really, they're just being jerks and cutting off your view unless you pay them off. The Red Hot Racing League has demanded that the venues along the 3.8-mile circuit slated to run through the heart of Sin City during November's Las Vegas Grand Prix pay $1,500 per head for licensing rights. According to the letters to the venues, they put this in writing. For a restaurant or club with 1,500 seats, the tab would soar to a whopping $2.25 million, regardless of how many guests can catch views from their roof decks, terraces, and dining areas.
Wow.
Now, there's a thing they're going to talk about in here, Beer Park. Yeah. It's if you go down the Strip,
You've done videos from there.
It's like across from Bellagio. You can go up and have a beer out in this thing. But let's say you got a ticket to go into Beer Park. It's like up 2 levels, so you have a good strip view. Only, like when I sit on the railing and have beers and people watch, only the railing is going to be able to see.
Yeah.
So the rest of the people...
There's no elevated seating.
Well, maybe they're going to make elevated seating. I don't know. I don't know how you would. But anyway, if clubs and restaurants refuse to pony up, sales reps for F1, owned by billionaire John Malone's Liberty Media, have warned that obstructions like barricade stands and light stanchions could end up ruining the race for their company. So they're just going to block them.
Wow.
They will obstruct views unless you pay them. That
God.
One hacked-off casino owner told the Strip, on the Strip, told the Post, it seems insane that they are asking for money for a public event that is taking place in the streets. Well, it's their race. Sources claim that salespeople working for Renee Wilm, the Las Vegas Grand Prix CEO and Liberty's, have even threatened that lights will be shined towards the viewing areas of unlicensed venues, blinding guests trying to get a sneak at the... Oh, it's a nighttime race.
Yeah.
Nighttime?
Yeah, because they can light it up. And then you see all the lights in Vegas. It'd be cool.
Jesus Christ. Who threatens? I'm going to blind your ass if you don't pay me. I'm gonna laser focus in...
The mafia.
Yeah, the mafia could learn a thing or two from these guys. There's a real chance of obstructing views with stands and barricades won't close. I know the hotels are upset about it, and they're going to try to figure out if they'll play along. The letter was sent to Planet Hollywood and Black Tap Craft and Burgers and Beers, which are along the race route, comes with a subtle threat worthy of Vegas pioneers mobster Bugsy Siegel. This is what they said. Las Vegas, they put this in writing. Las Vegas Grand Prix will use reasonable efforts to maintain sightedness from licensees' venues to track race. The license fee will equal the maximum occupancy of the licensee's venue per fire code multiplied by 1,500.
Oh my God.
The big worry is that Vegas venues will be forced to pass along the fees to their high-rolling customers in the form of stratospheric cover charges. It could soar past $2,000 a head.
Oh, wow.
Wow. While Formula One may charge similar fees at other street courses like Monaco, Las Vegas venues want high rollers to come and gamble several times a year. If the customers spend too much on this money on this trip, they might not come back. The Vegas executive added he has direct knowledge of a venue that in recent days told Formula One it would not pay for licensing. In response, they're pressuring, F1 is pressuring the Las Vegas Grand Prix sponsors to get the venue to cough it up. There's a certain line they are crossing by telling someone who has spent billions on their property that you are shutting down the Strip for construction and asking them to pay for the seats. They are trying to limit people's ability to capitalize on the race. Hotels like the Venetian and Wynn, those are both nice, are already paying roughly between $2 and $10 million to be official race sponsors and are not being asked to pay for more for having rooms that face the course. Oh, they are being asked to pay if you have hotel rooms facing the course.
Wow.
I mean, it goes on and on and on. They're figuring 300,000 people will attend. The average ticket price for the 3-day package is $6,651. Almost 50% more expensive than the $4,600 price for the Miami Grand Prix, according to King Casino Bonus. Oh, so there's a bar, too, on the Strip called Heineken House. I've been to it. They're going to charge $8,000 a person.
Wow.
That's what it's going to cost if they want to make this deal. I don't know if they'll do it, but yeah. Run-of-the-mill hotel rooms for that weekend are charging $1,000 a night. Add the $6,600 average race tickets. You could easily spend $15,000 for the weekend before even gambling.
Wow.
I mean,
that's crazy.
This John Malone guy of Liberty, the owner, boy, he doesn't look happy, friendly, not at all. I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
No.
You know what? I would have a fuck Formula One party, and I'd have all the big screens up, and I would black ourselves out. I'd put up blackout screens so we can't see it, and go la 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 la. I would become so juvenile, and I'm good at that. I'm very good at just becoming a juvenile idiot. All right. So you guys got to go look at this painting from 1860.
Oh, wow.
It looks like the girl is holding a cell phone. I mean, it couldn't be any more, but I also don't know what a tiny prayer book looks like. Maybe.
Because you have a giant prayer book?
I don't have a prayer book.
I know.
Catholics aren't issued one.
I know.
If it wasn't issued to me in grade school, I don't have it.
No.
It's called The Expected One by a painting by Austrian painter Ferdinand George Waldmüller. And if you go look at it, we're just going to put it in the notes. It could be either or.
It's pretty.
But I do believe in time travel because that Charlie Chaplin clip, if you go online, black and white film, there is a lady talking on a cell phone. An older, heavy-set woman. I swear to God, what else would it be? It's a famous thing online. Everyone's seen it. Everyone who's in the know paddles has seen the Charlie Chaplin time traveler lady.
No.
I do believe in time travel. Don't ask me to explain it. I just believe it.
Oh, come on. They say it's a hoax.
Now, me and my dad used to talk about what if all time is only the measurement of change, and the measurement of change is only judged by mankind, human beings. What if all time is happening at one time? And then sometimes we just slip dimensions, and that's how you see a ghost, or that's how you have deja vu. It's all happening simultaneously.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
What are you doing? I'm going to Google time travel?
Oh, there's so many videos.
There's a lot of videos. Look at the Charlie Chaplin movie.
I am. The time
That lady is on a cell phone.
Yeah.
Or she has, like, lice in her ear. And then back then, either could probably be true.
Giant lice. Wow.
You got to go look at this painting.
I've never heard of this.
Because you do not have the same... I go down rabbit holes way too much. And time travel is one of my favorite subjects.
Wow, the Christian Science Monitor did a whole thing on it.
Here's the other thing. If you go look at this painting, everybody's focused on the girl with the prayer book. Maybe she has an iPhone and she's texting about the little creepy fucker that's sitting in the woods waiting for her to walk down the trail. Go look at the painting. I would have been like, heads up, I see a redheaded elf in the left of me. In case I don't come back,
Right.
Weirdo trying to hand me flowers. Look at the whole painting before you judge. Just saying on that.
All right, it's in the notes.
Next week, I'm going to do some deeper investigation because I think it deserves it. They are
On what?
Tupac Shakur. They never... Tupac. I call him Tupac. I'm from the Midwest.
Yeah, that's
Did you go see Tupac down at the gig?
2 6-packs.
He's like 2 6-packs to me. And that's how ripped his abs were.
Wow.
The police have never closed the investigation.
Nope.
They have not. But I have a lot. They raided a Vegas home this weekend. I need to do more research on this before I get down to it with you guys. Because it's quite complicated. And I watched the whole show.
What spurred it? What spurred this all happening?
I don't know. Another tip. But Christ, it was 1996.
Yeah.
I think what probably spurred it is something we don't know about yet. There's going to be another show. I mean, there was already one show.
Yeah.
And then I only saw it one season. I don't know. I got to check on that.
He was in the Wu-Tang one, too.
He's in the Wu-Tang one? I like that Wu-Tang show. That was great, too. But those were COVID shows, and then they never came back. Sharp Objects with Amy Adams.
Yeah.
The Crazy People in Missouri. That never came back.
Wu-Tang was on Hulu. It was great.
Wu-Tang was on Hulu?
Yep.
Okay. How about the guy lost at sea for 3 months? Can we talk about him? He was rescued, Tim Shattuck, rescued off the coast of Mexico alongside his dog Bella after a helicopter accompanying a tuna trawler spotted their catamaran last week. He was found healthy and in good spirits. He was completely skinny. 3 months he was lost at sea. But he brought fishing equipment with him so he could fish for tuna. He ate sushi and drank rainwater. I mean, I believe the guy, too. Extraordinary images have been emerged.
I love that we've made it sushi. It's tuna.
That's what he called it. Well, it's fresh fish is sushi, Petals. There's no other definition. And he was eating sushi. Now, did he have soy sauce and wasabi and a nice server and a nice Sapporo? No, he did not. No. And what did his dog eat? Dogs don't like fish.
Yes, they do.
I've never seen dogs eat fish, and I've thrown a million fish on the bank fishing. And the dogs go over and they get all excited and they go, ooh, and they walk away.
That's because it's still flopping around there. Confused.
Mm-hmm. The guy lost like 1 million pounds out there, obviously. Here's his deal. They departed from La Paz along the Baja California Peninsula in Mexico in April to go on a 6,000-kilometer solo voyage across the Pacific Ocean to French Polynesia. They left 3 months ago. However, 2 weeks into his voyage, a storm destroyed electronics on his boat, leaving the pair without communication to the outside world or way to navigate the open ocean. The sailor was lucky enough to bring fishing and survival equipment along for the trip, which both provided him and Bella an opportunity to survive the ordeal. Mike Tipton, such and such and such, said his survival was a mix of luck and skill. I'd say a lot of skill.
Yeah.
How are you catching? Yeah. He said he would be lucky when rainfall would restock his water, his knowledge to create shade during the day to stave off heat stroke, and strict rationing rules increased his chances of survival. Yeah, I would know how to make shade. Well, I mean, hide under a blanket, but I'd still have a heat stroke. The pictures of him beforehand, and then, I mean, this should be, but it would be another movie like, what's the Tom Hanks one with the volleyball? You'd probably get bored.
Castaway.
Yeah. You'd get bored of the movie, I think.
He gave his dog away. Did you know that?
He gave the dog to the rescuers. I couldn't do that. No. It's weird. Yeah. It's not the only body transformation Mr. Shattuck has undergone, having dropped a large amount of weight after a stage 4 bowel cancer diagnosis. The Sydney man was an IT expert in the 90s and weighed as much as 120 kilograms before receiving his diagnosis, a far cry from his physique today. He claims that the raw diet helped curb the growth of the cancer cells and saved his life, having not eaten a cooked meal for 7 years in an interview in 2013.
264 pounds.
My stomach had cancer. I had stomach cancer years ago, but I'm healed of that. He told the fisherman on the tuna thing.
Who don't care.
Well, he received small amounts of fame for his claims that a raw diet cured cancer. I don't know about all that.
You should be careful about that.
Yeah, one should be careful. Well, you could write your experience and say, here's what I did. You want to try it? Go ahead. Right. But I don't know. You should say that it would cure it for everyone.
No.
We're going to, well, there's 2 things before we go.
Okay.
Little Dorf is going to Huntsville, Alabama. And I've given him one mission. Mm-hmm. Kay Ivey, the governor of Alabama. If you've ever seen my live shows, you know I talk about her. She has a new sweet tea inspired Alabama beer sold in cans depicting Kay Ivey as KFC's Colonel Sanders.
Stop it.
I told Dorf, you get your ass in every gas station.
Oh my God.
What do you do when you combine sweet tea, beer, KIV, and Colonel Sanders? A Huntsville small batch brewery took inspiration for the Southern staple to produce KIV Sweet Tea Sour, a beer fermented with local honey and cold conditioned with black tea and fresh lemon zest went on sale last week. Cans of the sweet tea. Yeah. I don't know. Why would you make her Colonel Sanders?
Because it's awesome.
It's sold out its first batch. And I told Dorf, don't ever come back to my house without it. If you return from Alabama and you don't, are there any Alabama termites? Have you seen it?
How wonderful.
Yeah. I can't, I'm going to show you guys a can of this.
You gotta buy it at a place called Beezer.
Here's our last story for this episode.
So great.
Lana Del Rey here's why I love Lana Del Rey. For you older termites, she's one of the children. She's like a Billie Eilish type. The same kind of. Maggie Rogers. They're all that group of the same age people, kind of. Lana Del Rey, though, is super weird in a throwback way, which I kind of like. She's nowhere to be found on social media.
Great.
Yeah. Every one of her albums gets these rave reviews that she's like a genius person. I find it all sad. I don't know why the children are so sad. It's all like, like a lot of ethereal, but maybe I'm just not sad. She's clearly very talented. Yeah. And then she lost her computer. She left it in her car on Santa Monica Boulevard with the door unlocked.
Right.
Anyway, Lana Del Rey gave her fans quite a surprise Thursday when she was spotted working as a waitress at a Waffle House in Alabama.
What?
The singer, 38 years old, stepped away from the stage as she was seen pouring coffees and taking orders at the restaurant chain. She was dressed in the company's blue uniform and wore a yellow name badge as she kept busy behind the counter and appeared to be waiting tables.
What the fuck?
I don't know. She's so weird. I love it. Well, then people are like, oh, what if, is this for a music video? Well, you would know that. First of all, the goddamn Waffle House would be closed if it was for a music video. Exactly. They close that shit up. They turn off the air conditioners. They don't want noise. And you'd see, at a minimum, 5 cameras.
Right.
And you'd see giant poles with microphones, sound people.
It's amazing that somebody in Alabama
I was a little shocked that somebody in Alabama, because Lana Del Rey is very cute, very pretty, but she also just looks like a normal person. Her hair's darker. Yep. She kind of flips the color sometimes, but I don't think I'd know it was her. No. And I've seen her picture a million times online. She was also seen chatting to some very surprised customers before sweetly posing for photographs with eager fans at the restaurants. It's not known why she was working at the venue, but fans were quick to flock to social media to show her appearance. Taking to Twitter, one fan wrote, "Lana Del Rey randomly working as a waitress for the Waffle House is iconic." And then somebody put, "Waffle House Employee of the Month, Lana Del Rey." Another joked, it's all silly. They wrote on Facebook, they were so excited to meet her. This is why I like her. Despite being a hugely successful global star with 9 studio albums, Lana keeps a low profile in her everyday life and doesn't have any presence on social media. Do you know how hard that is for a 38-year-old? And I'm sure her record company is like, bam, bash head in wall, bash head in wall, bash head in wall. Please, will you do something? No. Yeah, no. It's my joke for my act. Yeah, no.
Is like, no. Mm-hmm.
In the past, she's also told how she likes to pursue other job opportunities as well as music. She wants to be flexible in her career. And a Waffle House waitress is in that ballywick already. She keeps a low profile outside her concert music releases, and in the past has expressed an interest in following career opportunities outside of music. Sometimes that has taken me super far away from music into other mediums and job opportunities that have nothing to do with the arts at all. I'm very flexible, and I've come to understand that if you follow what you're interested in, you'll end up being the most creative in that field. Lana, the range of creativity at Waffle House is pretty limited because there's only about 8 ingredients. Right. I don't know what you want to do with a waffle mix, eggs,
pretty cool,
ketchup,
cheese. Yeah, they smother your
potatoes.
Smothered potatoes or something.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and this is to make everybody... I don't know, are Waffle Houses everywhere in the United States? I've never really noticed. They're everywhere I go. I guess so, probably nationwide. Right. If you've never been to one, you should go. I'd get there before midnight if you can.
No, it gets interesting after that.
Well, it gets very interesting, but it could also get wacky.
You just gotta sit by the door.
Sit by the door and don't sit with your back to the glass. Now we're just in a mob movie. No, it's crazy. This is why I like the youngsters. This is why I like young people. This is why you should appreciate it every time you go to a Waffle House. This lady is a journalist. Okay? She said, "I got a job as a Waffle House server that pays $2.92 an hour and now realize why there's a labor shortage. Every single person I meet, we all end up talking at some bar about how come there's not enough staff anymore anywhere, right? Anywhere. Yeah. The airport, not enough. The hotels, where'd everybody go? The only good explanation I've heard was a lot of 60-somethings had jobs like that, and then when COVID hit, they were just like, fuck it, I ain't going back.
Right.
Okay, so we lost the 60-somethings. But that doesn't explain, that maybe explains a third.
Right.
Where'd the other 2/3 of the people go that are now part of the half that's missing?
Right.
Well, this lady went to work for, now I don't know. When I waited tables, minimum wage was $2.01 an hour. That's it. $2.01. Now, that was 185 years ago during the Civil War. But moving on, this lady gets a job. This is her little diary. So now you'll appreciate the fact that anybody is in a Waffle House when you're hungry and you show up. Be nice to them.
Yeah.
As a new server at Waffle House, I earned $2.92 an hour plus tips. $3 an hour. So let's say you work 8 hours. You made $21. Right. If you didn't get tipped. Remarkably, that is above the minimum wage for tip workers, which sits at $2.13 an hour. So it's only gone up 12 cents since I was 16.
Great math. Great.
But Waffle House is just a side gig for me. When I'm not at Waffle House, I'm a freelance writer and strategy consultant. During a cross-country road trip, I noticed an increased rise in roadside restaurants desperate for workers. It made it seem like no one wanted to work anymore. So I became curious, and I started looking for a part-time job. Searched for a couple months. Waffle House gave me a chance. I started working there. The money isn't much, but what shocked me is the most serving about Waffle House isn't the pay. It's the cost of the employment itself. There's no such thing as a free lunch, not even at Waffle House. Even though I make $2.92 an hour, I'm docked $3.15 a shift for a meal credit, regardless of if I eat anything or not. I basically work for 1 hour of my day free. Because remember, she's only making $2.92, and they just charged you for your meal. The non-slip shoes I had to buy those when I worked at the restaurant, cost me $28. The 14-mile round trip to commute to my restaurant comes to $9.43 in unrealized commuting expenses each shift. Each week, about $3.75 is taken out for taxes. These expenses add up over time. In some ways, I'm paying for the privilege of working in a restaurant. I make about $75 on average during a 7-hour shift. Well, if you can make 100 in a 7-hour shift and you work 5 days, 7 times 5, $350 for the week.
Poverty.
It's poverty. Yeah. If you do it for a year, yeah. During my first 4 training shifts, she had 4 training shifts. I made $11 in tips. I knew I wasn't going to make much money during those shifts because I was basically help my trainer run her section. I practiced taking orders, delivering food, and did most of the dishes. Aside from the $11, which a customer gave directly to me. So like when I would bus tables, sometimes people would just tip me instead of the server because they thought I did a better job. And then that gave me incentive to really bust my ass, yeah.
Which is why you got your pin, your cow pin.
After all, this was my trainer's livelihood. She wasn't mad about that, not mine. And after I completed my training, I was allowed to 10 all my tables and keep 100% of my tips. In total, I worked 54 hours spread out across 8.5 shifts, and I earned about $343 cash tips. This includes a couple pennies I found on the floor.
Come on.
This is my first time working solely for tips, and it's confusing. Well, lucky you. Yeah. But I don't know. I liked working in restaurants. I mean, I like bars better. Thirsty people are nicer than hungry. Hungry people can be so mean. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. God, that is not medium well. God.
I've worked in the service industry before, but not solely for tips. In America, servers are legally compensated for actual poverty wage. Yeah, at an actual poverty wage. Correct. The justification is that customers are expected to tip the waitstaff, but that's not always the case. Restaurants are supposed to pitch in with a tip credit to bring servers to the unofficial minimum wage that varies by state. Also, just throwing in there, we used to report our tips. And of course, we didn't tell the whole truth. No. But then when I was like 18, they said we had to automatically, 15% was the rate at the time, report 15% of it off our sales.
No.
That is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because half the time I never got 15% in tips. Right. It was just awful. I'm like, oh, that's why America's falling apart. Right. The waiters and waitresses are scooting out with 2% extra a year. I mean, if that's where we're at, you know.
My
My pay stubs have shown different pay rates, $2.92, $3.19, and $12. I think it's confusing. I think the $12 was my training rate. Either way, I was told I'd never make less than $11.50 an hour. Another thing that surprised me is that I'm not always tending to customer. There's other work that has to be done. I have to sweep floors, clean my own dishes, refill, do your side work. Dirty floors and stacks of dishes that didn't leave tips. Correct. To be honest, I dreaded the idea of being a server, but it's grown on me. I know the names of the regulars and they know mine. I like taking their orders and chatting with them. Believe it or not, I like doing the dishes too. This is all fine. It can be fun, but it's not why. And then she wrote at the end, my Waffle House coworkers are some of the hardest people working I've ever met. They've worked there for years and love their jobs, but I'm fortunate that Waffle House isn't my source of livelihood. I became a server because I was curious. I got tired of listening to people tell me about the labor shortage was all about, what it was all about without experience for themselves. Based on how much I've made in tips, I think some jobs cost more to show up than they're worth.
Agreed.
Amanda Claypool, well done.
Yes.
So now.
Is she a child? Is she one of the children?
She's one of the, well, she looks, I don't know. Probably one of the children.
One of the children.
Yeah, probably.
Great.
All right, termites.
Ooh.
It was a long one today, but I had extra time today.
We gotta go read about.
Sorry, is it too long?
No,
Is it too long?
No, it's perfect. We gotta go read about Tupac.
I got to go read about Tupac Shaker. Tupac Shaker. Here's where I'm coming for shows. Cape Cod, Melody Tent.
Boom.
Boise, Idaho. I have a favorite Irish bar there. Reno, Nevada.
You don't have one there.
Yes, I do. I have a spot. Reno. Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yes. Pittsburgh, PA. Yes. Cleveland, Ohio. One of my favorite bars in the whole country. Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Honestly, never been. But now my cousin Mike lives there, and I can't wait to see it.
You'll be in his
My
bar.
cousin Mary's coming up. Yeah, we're going to have a big shindig the night before. Madison, Wisconsin. Chicago, Illinois. Richmond, Virginia. Charlotte, North Carolina. Des Moines, Iowa. And Kansas City, Missouri.
Boom. And the list keeps going.
And the list will keep growing because now apparently emails are coming in for all that. All right, termites. I hope you had a good time. Thanks for everything. Thanks for all the presents. Go listen to Dolly. Time after time. I've had my share of it and everything. And I've committed no crime. It's fascinating. I can't wait for this album. I'm going to take the whole day off. I don't even care if it's a Saturday.
That'd be great.
All right. That's
Show us a t-shirt again.
I'll show you the t-shirt one more time. Then I got to go.
We didn't do a lot of these.
Baby cat's very mad at me. It's too hot out. She wants to come inside.
That's a white shirt.
That's the back.
Yeah,
It's got
great.
paddles for paddles.
Yeah.
And then the front, the little thing. I don't like it when fronts are too busy.
Yeah.
I like, but
nice.
you people are willing to say, well, you tell me what you want on YouTube. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and maybe I'll do it. But just know I'm not a big fan of a front that says, I'm with stupid. I don't like the giant things. I like it to be clean on the front. The back can be wacky. That's not even wacky. That's just cool.
Great.
But
Yes.
whatever.
Looks like a link bar.
Yeah.
Well done.
All right. That's it.